Are you aging and struggling with how your makeup looks? Well, stay tuned because I'm going to show you how this 71-year-old has found the new Holy Grail. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy of Rising Sun Organic Beyond 60. And I've been a makeup artist for 40 years and a holistic esthetician. But just recently, I have discovered a whole new concept in makeup application. And this is so geared for aging makeup. And the last few years, I've been struggling. I've been doing some videos and on my YouTube channel, and I realized my makeup isn't right. Because you can really see it when you're watching someone's video. And I thought, the coloring, it looks heavy. Of course, we have all of our lines and pigmentation and color and redness are going on. So, and I was going more for a more fuller coverage, because when we're doing ourselves, sometimes we don't realize that what other people see. So, and even I can do someone's makeup and it can be absolutely perfect and beautiful. But when you do your own, you're just kind of, you get caught in a little rut. And you're still doing your makeup like you did in high school. And I think we're all guilty of that. But I've been trying, I have one of the best makeup lines that I sell at the salon, Iredale. And she's got one of the top powders, but I still wasn't getting the look. After a few hours, after your skin kind of molds the makeup and so forth, it changes. So I was still having flaking. And we're going to all have a little bit of it. But I knew that I had to quit using powders. And so I've been trying all different things. I've been on YouTube. I have followed everybody in the world. And they followed, oh God, I have spent so much money thinking I was going to find the Holy Grail and foundation. But I did. And I found this through one of the gals that I follow. Her name is, she's Rockstar Mom, and she's 78. And she's just a dear. And she did just maybe a month ago, she started on Seint and did her impression of this really different makeup. And kudos to Kara Brooks, who came up with this line, and the creativeness of her, as young as she is. I just wished I would have thought of this a long time ago, having the color background that I have. But anyway, we're going to go. Today I'm going to only give you the basics, okay? And then every Wednesday, I'm going to post a video on makeup. And I'm going to do all different things. I'm going to do from lips. Maybe I'll only concentrate on lips. Maybe I'll only concentrate on eyes or discoloration. And from my previous that I am a skin specialist and a holistic skin specialist. So the most important thing about makeup is your skin, the health of your skin. And yes, you're going to go through aging, but there isn't, especially after COVID, all of us quit wearing makeup and we got depressed. And I'll tell you right now, there isn't a person in the world that doesn't look better with some makeup. And it's the right makeup. So I hope that I could, in some of my teaching, that I can inspire you to reach out and let me help you with just a few things. We'll start with Makeup 101 and then go forward. And as you grow, we can go to Makeup 102. So stay tuned. So the first thing that I'm going to do, that I always do, no matter what line, I get my hair out of my face here. And this is me barefaced. I have had no Botox. I have no fillers. I take very good care of my skin. That has really helped just kind of keep from advanced aging, but that's my specialty. I work nationally with kind of companies doing their case studies, helping people with rosacea and eczema and glycation. And so if there's something that I could help you with, please contact me. But let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to use is a primer. And especially when you get older, I'm going to make excuses right now. I'm going to have to put on my cheaters and use my makeup mirror because my eyesight's not that good. And that's another thing, a video that I hope to do on people that have macular and what things that they can do just almost blind. And so that'll be kind of fun. So I'm going to have a little sip of my iced coffee. This is a good morning for that. So I've got two, excuse me. Seint Makeup is a cream-based makeup. And this is something that we really don't have. There's not, when I first got this line, I thought, okay, how can I take this? Here's my palette. How can I take this with the lines that I have that I sell in my salon and incorporate it into this concept? Well, you would have had to buy, first of all, I don't have any creams, which is something we used many, many years ago when I was first taught makeup. But we don't have the creams, and you would have to buy about 6 bottles of foundation. Well, that would be a little pricey. So it's a cream base. It's a vegan. It's holistic and green, just like everything else that I carry. And I need to use a primer on my face, and that's one of the biggest mistakes people don't do with their makeup is use a primer, because the skin starts getting deficient in hydration. And, it's just striving for nutrients. So anything you put on it, it's just going to suck it in. So the one that I'm going to use is my Jane Iredale. This is a messy one. You can tell it's been well used. This is silicone-based and dimethicone-based. And some of the ones, the artists in Seint Makeup say that it doesn't work real well with the cream-based makeup. Well, they haven't used Jane Iredale. So I'm just putting it on. I found another one also, if you don't want the dimethicone and silicone, I have one from my other holistic line from Osmosis, and this doesn't have it. And this is beautiful too, because I've worked with them both. I found that with my older skin, that actually the one that worked best, it was the one with the silicone in it. And I know most of the Seint artists are younger. I haven't found one as old as me, but that's a good thing. So I'm going to let that set in. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take, the other thing that is very, very necessary is a primer on your eyelid. Primers, because what happens, let me kind of back up and kind of explain my concept here. In normal makeup, Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a little corrector. Let's say we've got redness in through here, like some light rosacea, or we've got some darkness in our deep wells, and our eyes are starting to get different colors. Our lids are coming down. They're red, they're green. We've got the under eye. But what do is we put one color makeup to hide all that. Then we take, we've got concealer, we've got corrector, we've got bronzer, we've got blusher, we've got powder. How many layers is that? Well, this concept is one layer. And it makes so much sense because you don't have all that texture being piled up on the skin to just accentuate what's happening. We don't want that. So anyway, that's the concept here is I'm not going to put what's called our highlighter is our foundation all over my skin. I'm going to almost look like a warrior when I get ready to blend this. But back to the eyes, you can see I'm very light up here because I've got so much hood space, hood real estate, short forehead, and my eyebrows, if they went any higher, I wouldn't have any. They'd be in my hairline. And then I'm darker. And so I'm going to take some Seint Iredale, and this is, let me put my glasses on. This is canvas. Now we've got several colors. So we've got yellows, we've got bronzes. It all depends on what so I'm just going to use my fingers so it warms up with my body. And I'm going to work it on. And I'm just going to put this kind of inside my nose and work it. And this is neutralizing my color. I have lots of browns and my horrible tattoo eyeliner that turned bright blue. So you can see right now what it's doing. And it's setting that. So when you put your eyeshadow on, it's not mixing with another color. So you think, oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful taupe. But you put it on your eyelid and it mixes with another color, and all of a sudden you've got gray. This is just color theory. That's what this company is all about. And why I didn't figure this out with all the education I have in color theory, I just don't know. So again, I'm going to do this to the other eye, and I'm using my finger. You can use your brushes, but what I want this to do is I want it to warm up with my body temperature. So that's kind of, and so I'm neutralizing the colors in it with my primer on my eyelids. And this is wonderful just for people that don't wear eyeshadows. And some of the classes that I'm going to be having coming up on Wednesday is working with cream eyeshadows, because I have just started playing with those too. I mean, this is something we had years ago, but I haven't seen a lot of them lately. But I have found some vendors, and also with Seint has some cream eye, because with cream shadows, if you get the right ones, you don't have to be so precise with like brushes. And so if you have macular and seeing eye problems like I do, you can just feel it and put them on, and just get a nice color on your lid, because what shows age more than anything is all the discoloration on our face. Yes. So that's our first thing. And again, that's from Seint Iredale on Canvas, and I'll have a link below. You might have your favorite one at home. We can also use some of the creams from Seint too, so that's perfectly, and I'll show you how to do that also. So that's step number one, and we've kind of let we've let my primer kind of soak in. One thing with primers is the biggest problem that my clients have is they say, let me turn another light on here. When I put my makeup on, it rolls, it gets it looks like erasers. Well, you haven't let it set long enough because you've got your cream and then you've got your primer. So let it set for a few minutes. Maybe you want to work on your eyes. That's another thing that I've done because I wear quite a bit of eye makeup. I sometimes will do my eyes first and then go back and do my foundation. And it's just your choice. It's what you're used to. And I'm going to do it all different ways, sometimes I'm going to use contours, sometimes I'm not. So not everyone needs a contour. I definitely do. Here we go. So the first brush that and this is another thing. I tried this without the Seint brushes. And these brushes, they're double. And they are meant to for these cream foundations. And they're vegan. I've just switched to all the ones that I sell in the studio to vegan because that's what we do. I don't want any animals harmed. But the biggest thing we want is, I'm going to take, and this is, you guys, this has had a learning curve for me. I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to take one side of the brush and I'm going to tap it in. You don't want to go back and forth because you're going to get way too much. So I'm going to tap it in. So it's only on one side of the brush. And I'm going to go from the top of my ear. And you can see you don't want to go past this part here. But as you can see, I'm putting on my war paint. So let's do the other side. All right, the other thing that a lot of people do also, and there's so many Seint videos on YouTube and TikTok, is they'll take their contour and put it on the forehead here up by their hairline. But I don't have a forehead. And you don't want to, as you start getting older, you can see the indentation here. This is not where you want it. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my ear and I'm going to bring it down and I'm going to start sculpting out my jawline. So you can see that right now because these nasal labial folds, as attractive as they may be. All right, now the problem with matching is people think they go to their face and they start putting all their colors on, and you're at this point your skin has a surface color, not an undertone. So I like to really watch what's going on the body, so we don't have this white face, this white patch here, these dark pigmentation here, and then your chest. I mean, that's not natural. So, but anyway, I'm finishing putting up my contour, and this is all going to be blended. And this is one of those things where not everyone will do. And if it's not, well, no, I wouldn't do that. Well, stay tuned because I'm going to teach all different ways, even the ultimate basics for just someone who has never worn makeup. So that's the first thing that I do. And I also take my little, and I clean my brush here. The other thing, the next step, what I'm going to take is what you want is you want the center of your face to be lighter. And I always used to sell clients two makeups. And so, of course, your skin's darker in the summertime. And so I would always have them either put the darker on and the lighter in, like right in here or whatever. And as the seasons change, so they always had two makeups. Well, this is the same concept. So what I'm going to take is, I'm going to take, okay, and this, let's see what color this is. I'm going to try, and we better get my glasses on. And these have all been color matched to me. And that's what I do. So you either come to my studio and I'll color match you, or I'll have you send me a picture and I'll tell you how to take that, and I can color match you online, which is fabulous. And virtually. So if you're watching this and you think, well, I don't live in Reno, I sure would like to go to her, I can do it and I can help you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, I'm going to kind of work it in here, and I'm going to work it here. And you want to keep, and most people have a nice vermilion. I have a crease right there. So I'm going to work it right there, kind of on top of my lip. And you notice that I'm not putting so much. I'm used to using a lot of concealer. And what I had found, because as we start losing our fat pads, and this is, let me show you, here, 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 all across our forehead. That's from fat pad loss. And I'm not talking about being heavy and losing your fat cells. This is our structural, and this is what happens as we start aging. So we want to be very, very careful on keeping this lighter and then our other colors there. That's what I have put on. I've just lightened this. You can also take a little bit if you need more, let's say you've got a lot of red, I've got a lot of white. So you can also use this as I did you can use it, because this is kind of what their concept of a concealer is too. Works. So you can also use that if you didn't have a primer, like I showed you with Jane Iredale. And we can go ahead and set this and let this. So as you can see, we're starting to brighten up. I've got some things going on here and things going on here. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to take my main color. But let me get down here, because this gets kind of holy. And as you have your nasal labial fro, I used to really try to put a lot of foundation there, but I'm going to be really light-handed there, because the more texture, again, it's just going to show up more. So when you're working with your main color, and I'm going to show you my main color, it's right here. You don't go back and forth. You just dot it. And I'm going to put that everywhere that I didn't put. I didn't put the other colors. So I'm just kind of working this in. And I'm going to work it on my forehead. Now, if you had the contour on your forehead, you would be below it. And like I said, the biggest thing that's happening to me is I'm trying not to be so heavy-handed. There's so much stuff on this. One of these little tins should last quite a long time. As you can see, mine's already got a hole in it. That's because I was using too much. But it was just my training. It's just how I've been doing it. And so I'm just going to just kind of dot a little bit. And I was, like I had said. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side and I'm going to start blending this. And you want to work this down. And then I'm going to start working this up. And again, you want to make sure that you're not coming into, because this is where we start falling. So we don't want to bring that contour really too much past that eye. Now you can see how everything is starting to blend. I have a shiny forehead, so let me put a little bit more. So we had we had 3 different colors going on. But look what we've done. We've blended it. So now we're seeing the coloration of my skin just has blended beautifully. And I've got 1 layer of cream on. I didn't go over it I didn't take the foundation over the contour. And again, this might, if you don't love, and we've got this defined in our little waddle here, I always like to kind of, later I'll show you when we get into the bronzer, what different places the bronzer goes versus the contour. So that's our first step. And so the other thing that is so fabulous about this is their lip and cheek color. And these are all the bronzers, and I custom blend what works for you. Or, I'm sorry, these are the contours. Or if that's not for you, I'll put you on a bronzer. A bronzer is less pigmented. So it's going to be as I've been doing my before and afters, which I'm going to post on this, just some of my very beginnings, my first ones. And again, I'm working with women over 70. I work with everyone, but my challenges are there. So these are my lip and cheek colors. And you can see how beautiful they are. And they're so pigmented. But this is something I'm going to take Ruby. And now, when you're working, again, see the indentation here as we started falling. I call it the dermal slide. I just don't like that big old cheeky, I can say it, old lady look that, of our traditional grandmothers and grandmothers. I like to keep it just right above our contour. And I like to keep it in a paisley shape. So I'm going to go and I'm going to wrap it around here because my indentation is here. And look how bright that is. But watch what it does. Again, I'm going to go and I'm going to ripe it because what we're doing is we're lifting this face because, like I said, we've had this dermal slide. So I'm going to take and I'm going to work this in. I'm going to kind of work it a little. And sometimes when you do this first, your creams, and then you go to your eyes or whatever, they have a tendency to melt into your skin. And that's the beauty because you can still see skin. So, see, that old face isn't looking too bad. I like to, I'm going to take a little bit of kind of use our lighter highlight shade, which is my candle lit, and just kind of lift this. Again, I am not putting a lot on these because no, they're not attractive, but it's something that we all get. We can have other things done, but then we look like we gained 15 pounds, you know, when they start using fillers and you start getting really full. But the less, we don't need to draw emphasis to it where we have a bunch of cake, because of the lines, it's going to settle in those lines, not necessarily with the cream. So let's kind of review what I did. First of all, I took my contour, which today I used Astoria. I have used Stone, which is nice also. So first of all, we primed the face and we primed the eye. Then we took our we took our contour, and just from the top of the bone to about this part, I went right under that bone. Okay, so we put that in on both sides unless you want to look goofy. And then if you've got a larger forehead, you want to work it around your hairline. And then we took it from right here, our whole mandible, and just worked it. And this brush is geared for that. So we came right down on under that on both sides. Then what I did is I took a little bit here so I could blend it down over my wattle. And then we took our lighter foundation shade or highlight shade, and I worked it in the center of my face, because this is where, you know, shine the light, shine the spot side, because we want to accentuate the center of the face. And we use a little bit of it for your under eye, even unless we're not doing some color correcting. And I've used, you know, being a makeup artist all these years, we didn't have concealers for your eyes. We worked, I was trained with Marvin Westmore in California, and they've been makeup artists, that family, since the early 1900s. So we worked with creams in those days because we didn't have all the foundations and all that what we have today. So we were taught, and I know J-Lo's makeup artist, he shows this technique too. It's kind of fun to watch what they do to her with making her look like a warrior before it all gets blended. But then we took our second highlight color, which is our overall foundation color. And I took my blending brush for light. Now, if you're more experienced in makeup, you can go and use these contours. And these are so beautiful because they're just sculpted. You can see how that's sculpted. But this has a little bit more of a learning curve, her brushes, and then we've got some other ones that are smaller. So what I did is I just got enough foundation on, let me get my right brush here, on my, I just tapped it in. You don't drag it. You tapped it in. And you just went to the places where you didn't have the foundation. You had it, you put it here, you put it here. So we weren't going over the areas that we had. I put a little bit more on my nose because it has to get kind of pory. Then what I do is, and I do this a couple times just for my skin type, but they have their blending brush, blending sponge. This is magical. So you can take this and then stipple it over everything and absolutely get an airbrush look. And I'm going to do this at this point because I'm going to just do some basic on my eye. But when we're all done, we're going to use the setting spray because this just sets it. But by using it, I like to use it at the end and this throughout. It's settling into your skin, and it's not going to be all over your clothes by the time we use the setting spray. All right, so let's get going. Let's see. I'm going to flip this around, and you can see better than me, but I'm going to start working on these eyes. And this is kind of my new setup because I'm so blind. I've got macular on one eye, and so it's been challenging to work with one good eye and one, but a lot of people at my age have it. So that's why I said that I'm going to be doing another one showing some cream shadows that you can just use your finger on and not have to have such good vision, which is going to help a lot of people. All right, so let's look at my eye. Actually, if you've watched my other videos, I just created the first step of my other videos, and that's called enhancing. And whenever you start, just like I said before, whenever you start on a painting, you certainly don't start with a muddy wall or a muddy canvas, or if you're painting, we need to enhance the skin tone. We need to take away all the discoloration of what's happening as we age, because that's what ages you. Same way with your eyes, but we want it natural. We want it to look like skin. So that's number one. Now, and we've gone through what my second one was, enhance. Well, no, this is enhance, is to decorate. Yeah, oh God, I'm all okay. Enhance, define, and decorate. That's the three concepts that I teach. That's what Marvin Westmore taught me. So defining, we already defined, all right? We defined the structure of my face. Now we're going to start working on my eyes. So of course we have seen this start to fall, and the discoloration. I'm going to blend this out a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set that, let me grab my powders. The other thing that I really, really am excited about is for years and years and years, as I've done people's colors, I've always custom blended their palettes, because when I do colors, I do hair, skin, and eyes. I match those. And in fact, I've got some videos coming up where I did these colors, my clients' colors, probably 30, 40 years ago, and they've completely changed because they've turned silver. So I've redone their colors, and they were some of my first Seint victims, and how I have changed their look. So that's going to be kind of fun. I've got several that I'm going to be doing. So sometimes I'm going to be working on myself, or sometimes I'm going to be working on models. But let me have some more iced coffee. So what I want to do at this point is I'm going to use a brush that's just fluffy brush, eye fluffy. And I'm going to, these are all my mattes. And as I started saying, I used to custom blend, because as we get older, we need to use mattes. And the mattes are hard to find. Oh, and in me, custom blending, I would just carry the single shadows and then put your palette together. Then when you ran out, you could always fill that one color, because we always have one that we use more than the other. But my vendor quit making shadows. Can you believe that? So I didn't know what I was going to do, and I'm not one for selling you a pre-done. I just don't carry them, just no matter how good they are, unless you just absolutely love every color there are. I've got Jane Iredale colors that are all done, and she's completely redone their line. But again, I like to customize that around that eye color. So I'm going to take some, like a light neutral, and you always want to flick your brush. And I'm just going to set, where I put a little bit of that concealer. Okay. I hope you're seeing me. The last makeup video I did, you guys spent half your time looking at the top of my head. So I hope I'm better at this time. All right. So I've now set either the concealer and done. You don't want to just go in with your dark first. That's, you want to work from lightest to darkest. And I'm going to take a little bit of this, like a smoky pink, and I'm going to just flip it right back here like a windshield washer. And again, you want to tap it off. And I'm doing exactly what I'm going to teach you not to do. You see how I'm raising my eyelids, all right, to do placement? Well, in this case, I'm going to try and show you how, when raising your eyelids, when you look normal, you got all your shadows in the wrong place. So I like to start with my brows too. I like to set this in, give this time, and then I'm going to work with my brow. And you can do several things. I've got makeup pencils, but my brow has really thinned. One of the fun things that I've been doing, though, is what we started doing at the salon is brow lamination. And, we get some of those squirrely ones, but brow lamination and lash, what we do is we take the brows, and this is fantastic for people that have a beautiful brow. We brush it too, and I always kind of trim the tops of, just so they don't look like, they don't look crazy. But what we do is we perm the brow in a certain direction, however works for you. And so I like mine going up. I'm missing so many. And then what we do after we perm them is we dye them. And even people that have them tattooed, you've got to, there's just a little bit of correction you have to make. Now, see, with mine, they've lightened so much. I've got the pretty sparkles in there. But even when I laminate, which they need to be, I like to really define that line. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to make a little bit strokes here, and I'm using, you can see this brush that I'm using. It is so fine. And then I'm actually using the shadows from, the matte shadows from Seint. So I'm going to draw this in with a line, and you want to lift it out. If you look at your brow, my brow comes clear down to here. But we don't want to do that because that's going to pull this down, and it's already headed that way anyway. So I want to, what I'm trying to do in my brow is pull it down. Like I said, they can't get any higher. So I make that line, and I'm working it out, and I just softly, and then I start blending it. But I'm amazed, of course, this is just what I do, how many people have their eyebrows so screwed up. Most of the time, they've got them way over for some reason, they get them one eyebrow overplucked in the center, about a 1/4 inch. I don't know if it's the way we see or what it is, but almost everybody that I do. But you can see right there, just a little bit of brow even, but it's blended in and it's stopped this from just going up into my hairline. Like it's here, what's stopping this? This big old thing. So brows are very important. And you know, like I always used to say, because I'm from Nevada, and I'm just making this line, I'm drawing this in and working it down, but I'm not going down all the way. I'm going out. As I used to always say, don't make your eyes look like you've put a Kino crayon on it, and sometimes that's, well, with the definition and the style, with brows being so dominant right now, the style, sometimes it looks like that. And so I'm just going to work this in. And I need a little bit more. This is my eye that doesn't have much, I'm lacking hair. And it's also the eye that is smaller and goes lower. So I have to almost raise this up versus this one just to balance them out. So I want make hair-like strokes here. And what was fun my eyebrows, my partner has been in Egypt, so I haven't been able to get done, but what's nice about it is when you have them permed or laminated, and you can have that, you can check that out on the internet and see who's close to you, is they hold their color so much. So that's fun. So then what I'm going to take, and I'm going to take, Seint Iredale has, let me find it here. I'm sorry for turning away from the camera. If I have it in here, in fact, I'll have to use one of my other ones because I didn't bring it in with me. But we have different colors. So even if you're not using any powder on it, you can come up and you can take some, I call it brow mascara, and I'm using like a brunette, but we've got blonde and different colors, and this is just kind of setting them and putting a little color. So even if you weren't using, if you had a pretty good brow, you can use something like this. And I'll list it from Seint Iredale. It just kind of just sets them, which keeps them nice. And then I'll show you some as we get farther along. And if you use a pencil, you're probably really good with it. It depends what I'm doing. I've actually sometimes have taken my wand and rubbed it on my pencil and then work that in, and that gives a nice look also. So now we've got that. Now let's talk eyeliner. And this has been something that has just struggled me so much because I'm used to wearing a lot of it. And as I told you, I had my eyeliner tattooed in, and it was very thick, and it's almost ice blue now, and it just infuriated me. So, but I'm not going to try to cover that. As we get older, our lashes get thin, of course, and especially people are wearing those overdone lashes that look like you've pulled the shades down on your eyes. You don't want them so heavy that they're coming up and they're covering this whole thing, because you can't even see what people's eye color is. And that's the beauty of our makeup, is let's work with your eye color. They're our windows to our soul, and that's what shows our life and our spirit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, we have it's black. Of course, you can use any of these eyeshadows, and I've always taught this, as eyeliners. And or you can use a pencil if you're good with it. My pencil, I have a tendency to get too thick. I will kind of go in later and doctor up a few things. The other thing that too, if you're going to get your eyes tattooed, your eyeliner, don't do the bottoms. Boy, nothing ages you more than to put a dark line on that bottom. And that was another thing that I had to really watch. But it doesn't mean I don't put any color in there, but we'll show you. So I'm going to take it's like a black eyeliner. And what I want to do is I do have to stretch this. I know but I want it in this well. Because these eyelashes, and what you can do is nice about this is you don't have to, you can blot it in. You can just make it just set it in there. And sometimes if you like to tight line, I usually do it at the end, but I will take this and I will kind of go underneath. So you can see it's given me a little bit more definition and getting that blue out of there. So let's do the other eye. All right, so we can set. And, it gets easier if you just dot this in. All right, I need a little bit more. Like I said, nothing is wrong with pencils. Then I can take my blender and I can smudge these out. That's my lip pencil. Okay. So this is defining. We want to save as much space as we can because, I've got my hood coming down. And so if I get a big old thick line of liner, let me get in the back of the camera. If I get a big old thick line of liner, it's taking up that lid space. Well, that lid space needs to be lighter because we want that to come forward. Or if I'm going to do one on hooded lids because I'm kind of hooded myself. So, let's save our space there. And we'll do that at the end. So the other trick that people do, and I was just talking about this, is they raise their eyes up, way up, all right? So then when you look down, you've missed your bone. And what we're trying to do is fill right here. That's where we want the softness there to give us the look of what we call a three-step eye, and to soften that bone. Now, right now, it's like it's got stadium lights on it because it's all coming forward. So we need to diffuse that. So I'm going to take and if you need, sometimes you can draw this in. If you look down and put a little pencil right on that bone. But I'm going to take and utilize my brush, and I want this right on this bone, and I want you to tap it. just tap it. That way, we're not have fallout everywhere, but we're starting to soften and to dim those stadium lights. And that's a little bit soft. I'm going to do the other one so I match. But stay out of the crease. That crease is going to have a different, all right. And then you want to blend it. The biggest thing that I see that makes me crazy is they'll get that, I'll show you. You'll get that definite line. All right, let's use something that's more, a little, this is kind of a, you guys, I know it's hard for me. So I have that sitting on my bone. All right, so now you can take and you can work it. But what I see people do is over here, they'll get that on their bone, but they still have this white up here. I always like to take a soft pink and infuse it from where our bone, our chisel bone line is that we've done, and just soften that outer third so it goes into, so again, we don't have this bright white there that is still coming forward. So again, I'm going to, let's see what I'm working this in. I'm going to work with a different color. I need more definition. I'm being light because what I have found, and I always knew this, was as we age, the colors we use, we have to be more careful of because they'll grab on the eye. So when I got Seint's matte shadows in, I was going for the colors that I usually use, and they were really grabbing. So I had to kind of soften things up. I'm just looking all over here for what I like. All right. We're going to spend more time on this. I just wanted to kind of lightly demonstrate. So see, we have, what we have going is we have some definition of my bone. So it's starting to lift, okay? Let me get something. And again, if you need more, work it in this way and then work it out. And you want to work it this way also. This is where we are. Remember we shortened our eyebrow, we made it go out. So again, we don't want anything under here because and I'm not, let's see, I have to be, this lid here falls down lower. So my days of wearing a wing are kind of gone. But kudos to you that can still do that. Okay, let's go back in and get all my brushes together here. All right, so let's take this right on that bone. As you can see, let's take it right on that bone. Relax that eye. And then take it and just start blending. This goes up here. And those little things that you get in your eyeshadows from the drugstore, those don't work real well because you can't do any of this. So even if you just invest in a couple good shadow brushes, All right, I need a cleaner brush here. I'm going to, okay, I want to switch this out and then work it up here. Okay, we're getting there. I'm not going to do too much, you guys. We're almost over. I'm pre-recording this, so the things, okay. All right, so see, we're starting to get, and I've used light colors, but you can see the depth of how they have grabbed on my skin because of the thinning of the eyebrow. Now, this is the beginning of a three-step eye. Now, of course, if you always, you know, on the YouTube videos, they will take the darker color and they will make a triangle. Right here. And again, you want to take a kind of a strong brush. And this isn't, and see, we're getting that outer corner. And then I'm just going to kind of lightly wrap it with my color right here. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to blend this. But you know, I'm only doing that outer corner because I'm going to save the rest of that lid for some brightener. So this is just getting a little bit more into makeup. What did I say? Makeup 102. This is your three-step eye, and I can take a little bit of and kind of dot that in. But like I said, this eye has a tendency to see how I get. It just kind of gets in that corner and pulls that. So I want to keep it blended. All right, so let's try this one over here. The other thing you can do is you can draw this in. Let's use a deeper color. It's so nice to use like this and then just blend it. So we have done a little bit of a lift. Let's see, I'm not using a real dark one. So we're actually working, if you want your eye to look longer, we're actually working on the side if you don't have the problems that I have. So that's another look. Let me define that more with some black so you can see the difference. So what I've done is I've drawn this line up and then kind of blended it in like a simulated wing. And then I like to just kind of just go a little bit over. And what I was saying about the dark lines underneath, you can actually take, let me clean these brushes. You can take like a soft, and again, I like to use the color wheel of your eye color, whether or not you've got taupe, whether you're cool, whether you're warm. We want to use some bronzers. But if you wanted to use something that had a little bit more sparkle in it, we could go to some shimmers and we could move them down here. Okay, so see what I did? If that's your look. Sometimes I'll do it. It just depends what I'm doing. So then, what I like is, again, it's all about spotlighting. Remember I talked about the stadium lights here. We want to spotlight this. So I'm going to take my finger And I'm going to just put a little bit, and this is, we can, even on an older eye, and we've got lots of colors. I've got a lot of gold in my eye. And so I'm taking some gold shimmer. Let me get this a little bit more. So again, we've controlled the lighting. So we've added, so you can see more of my lid space. And let's take some more and do the other one. All right, so that's done that. You can blend that out. And sometimes, if you're real excited and you want to do, I will do this. I will take some of my, well, I sometimes use shadows. Sometimes I use my concealers. In this case, I'm going to use my base. Let's find out where I'm at here. I'm going to take some of my concealer and kind of get it off. And I'm going to line right here to really precise that brow. And then you can take it and put it here. I know a lot of people, I've got some fallout here, will, you know, use their shadows. Okay, let's buff this in here. Boy, the wind is blowing here today. Because here's another spotlight we need. And then you can also, back to where we were in the very beginning, you can take your, if you've got nose problems and you want to slim it. Oh wait, that's the wrong color. I'm putting purple lipstick on there. Oh dear. Okay. So you just kind of come down like here. Then I want to put my highlight, not on the tip of the nose. All right. Now keep in mind, I didn't pile on a lot of concealer. And, you know, throughout the day, I haven't set this or anything. But, all right, I need some blending here. Let's see, let's get this blended. You can't blend too much. And I've got, what I've done, because I have so much green in my eye, and I've kind of followed the liner of the outer rim of my eye, which is kind of a bluish green. And then I've got all this bronze colored. So what is the complement to green? It's plum. And sometimes you have to be careful with your plums. We're seeing better. I like plum browns because that's going to set, you know, if I go into the warm browns, sometimes I get too muddy looking. And if something doesn't look right on your skin, especially your foundation, it's too light. And that's our biggest mistake. Something that it's not working on your skin, it's not working because it's not your color. So those are things that you want to think about. When I color match you, I want that good picture, and I have you stand in front of a window about 3 feet away and give me a good selfie with no makeup. And if you want to, you can also give me a selfie with your makeup on, because that tells me what you're doing, what your style is, and what you're comfortable with. So I'm not going to send you back a color match that makes you look like you're ready for the stage. So, okay, so that's on that tangent. So my eyes are looking pretty good here. And you can always go darker, but again, I'm lifting. I'm really trying to lift And I do need a little bit more color to match these two eyes. And then I just want to just lift it. And again, follow that line. You can also take, let me show you my, you can also take your concealer or your highlighter, and I like to just kind of blend it up here. I like to kind of blend it here. Because if we get too much out here, again, we're just drawing those lines in. Okay. So now let's say, what are we going to do here? We need lashes, and Seint Makeup doesn't make mascara because, as Kara says, there's fabulous pencils and makeup and lipsticks on the market. She doesn't. She has her special way of doing things, and hers is cream makeups. So I'm going to take, and I do need to, curl my eyelashes. They're bone straight. So I just get it in there, and I'm just using a Revel, and I know there's better ones out there, but you get kind of accustomed to someone. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use Jane Iredale Lash Primer. This stuff is so nice, and it's white, so I'm going to, you can use this on your eyes too. At nighttime, just to, because most of the mascaras that we use have coal tar in them. And coal tar is, first of all, it's carcinogenic. I don't use anything with coal tar, nor do I sell it in my salon. All right. So you can see what I've done there. So, and before it dries, I'm going to come back with Jane Iredale mascara. And it is so nice. It is really nice. And you're going to see how long my lashes will be just by using, pardon me for going away from the camera, but, and you want to work that up. But I know when you use the primer on your lashes at night, it helps them stay. I get. So see how much lash I'm getting? I want to get these in here too. All right, see how they look? All right, let me do the other eye. And then we kind of get this all wrapped up. I got a little mascara right here that I'm going to daub out with one of my wet brushes. Just work it up. Work it up. I'm going to do a video, one of mine Wednesday videos on lash enhancers and what to stay away from, that we've had some new problems with some, which ones are good, which one are some of the major ones now we're finding because of the hormone in them. I always say that word wrong, prolastogen or something like that, is causing really escalation of the eyelid and losing the fat pad. So this part of the eye is falling, and this is getting and you can just go with stick. I'm just going to do one coat today. But I'm looking a little bit better, I think. One of the unique things of what I've learned with of Seint is they actually take, now what I did this morning and what I really like to do is I have a product from Is Clinical that is a lip scrub, and I put it in my shower because once you get older, you have a tendency to get a lot of dryness up here, and you know we're getting lines, so and I like to make it to where in fact, if I rub my lips right now from me doing that scrub, it's still coming off. So it's kind of nice just to rub your lips, get your color, and we all have color in our lips. But what they do is they take their contour and I don't know if this is the right brush. Let me find the right brush. They take their contour, and now I have this strange area here that it's just more of a crease than, but as we get older, you don't want real tight points, and that's something that I just am trying to break. You want it more blended. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of using this as a liner. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier than doing a lip liner with an older lip. And then you can come right down here because you can see the color part, and your vermilion has gotten just kind of a little faded. So I'm going to go right underneath. And we're creating a more definition, and this is going to keep, even if you used, you know, a little bit of your deeper foundation color or whatever, it's going to keep your lipstick from going. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let me see if this is the right one. I need to put on my glasses for a second. What did I do with them? See, I'm losing my mind. Let's see, do I have enough? I think I need a little bit. We're going to touch a few things up. I'm going to touch a little bit more blusher because as you can see, it's kind of eating it up now that my skin has melted in. And so I'm going to blend that in. Again, we want that paisley. It's working up into that indentation. And you look at these colors with all these, I mean, it's incredible that they go on so well. I mean, there's some peaks there that are bizarre, but they're beautiful. So I'm going to take that color find my lip here. Yeah, we got it. I'm going to find that lip color. And I'm just blending it in my hanger. I'm going to tell you a little hint. When you are looking for lip colors, you want to test them on your finger, because this finger is about the same color as your natural lip cone. So, you know, you say, well, you look at a color and you think, well, no, that's not going to look good on me. You know, especially like me, I have more, boy, I'm about 60% cool, 40% warm. If you test that finger, you're going to see more of what that lipstick is going to go. Now, I'm going to take, this is, a little bizarre for me, but as you get older, you need to ditch the reds. Now, sometimes it calls for a red. You know, you're going out, you got a beautiful red top, yes, but they're going to age. And I've always been bright lipsticks, but I've been having to kind of soften them up. And again, this is black cherry, and you can make your own colors. But I have to tell you something, this doesn't stay on real well. So you might, you know, the beauty of having all your makeup in one palette is that you're always ready to go. You don't have to load up your cosmetic bag with every palette you have and every lipstick. But I have some fabulous lipsticks that I sell. I don't sell a lot of lipsticks. It's a real personal thing. I find that when I have them, by the time they hang around the salon, they go rancid. So I'm a big lip stain girl, and I have found some good ones that I'll share later. But okay, now we have just about completed everything, but I have one more trick. I want to take the bronzer, and you can even, I need to take a little bit of, I haven't put too much. I'm going to go over with another tiny little coat of just a little bit of highlighter, because I have those wells from the fat loss. So I want to work it just a little bit up here, a little bit more here, because I tried to go light-handed. You can do your cleanup too, like this. And also, remember, we put that contouring. You can just bring it down the nose. My nose isn't too bad. I have kept this light. I'm just going to put a tad more of what has soaked in. Or if you have some pigmentation, we can go in and just kind of just press it in. This is blue here and here, so I need to use something that has a lot of orange in it. I want to press that in. All right, so I'm going to get my blender brush, my blender sponge, And I'm going to spray it with a setting spray from Seint. And I just want to kind of squeeze it. Now I'm going to go through and blend under the eyes, blend on your nose. And just that is going to set it. And then as that's drying, I'm going to take our bronzer. And our bronzer, remember I said that it was different from the contour. Look at me with my hair going all crazy. Your bronzer isn't pigmented. Doesn't have the pigment that the contour has. So I'm just bouncing my bronzer brush, and I'm going to go wherever the sun hits me. And there's a technique where you can, you can actually do your bronzer first. So I'm going to show that in another video. And but also I want to take a little bit and just work it down here. And remember, you're not matching your foundation colors to your face. That has turned into a surface color. We want undertones. We want things to work. If we're working clear down in our neck, we want it to blend. We want it to look natural. A lot of times women will get a deep pigmentation here that we need to kind of blend. So that's it. So, I know it was a long video, so I'm going to kind of cut and run through things. But if you've got any questions or if you want to be color matched, and I've got that link below, please give me some more things. Or if you need to ask more questions, I would love, absolutely love to get some question and answers. Then I can do a troubleshooting video. I'm excited. I've hit 50 subscribers. And so when I hit 100, I get to do live videos. So I'll graduate in YouTube. So if you like this, give me a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. And if you think that one of your friends would like it, share it. So this is going to be on. Thank you so much for spending this time with you. God, it's been an hour and a half. I'm going to try to cut this down a little bit. My editing skills are limited, but you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching.